Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll give me a hand in welcoming your first storyteller of the evening, Mr. Nick Nelson.
When I graduated high school, I had never kissed a girl, which I'm pretty sure they are all okay with that. No complaints. That's all I'm saying there. I was very awkward as a teenager, more so than normal. So I was born with a hair lip or a cleft palate, which, as it turns out, isn't a self-esteem booster that I thought it would be. And when you're born that way, there's a whole set of complications. Like I had braces on my face from 6th grade all the way through my senior year of high school. And the average amount of acne. To point out how awkward I was as a teenager, when I wanted to ask out a date to my senior prom, I decided the best way to go about this would be to write her a poem. So I wrote her a poem in my German class. In German. She was not in my German class, nor did she speak German, so she had to have my best friend translate it for her so she could say no thank you in English. And so, after I graduated high school, me and my friends all got a job at the local Subway, which was great. We could work together, and our manager really liked us, a bunch of 17-year-old boys. And she said, you know what, Nick, we're going to hire some very cute girls for you to work with this summer. And boy, did she come through. She hired 3 amazingly beautiful women, but the only woman really of interest for this story is Abby. And Abby was great. She was slender, petite. She had the biggest blue eyes I think I've ever seen to this day. They're the best blue eyes I've ever seen. And the great thing about Abby was that she had a boyfriend, so I could just relax, be her friend, really focus on being her friend, set my German poetry skills to the side for the moment, and just go forward. So about a month passes by, and me and Abby are becoming very good friends. We're starting to hang out after work and getting along great. In fact, I'm beginning to think that Abby likes me more than she likes her boyfriend. Basically because she said that in those exact words. Nick, I like you more than I like my boyfriend. And that was great to hear, but I still didn't know what it meant. And so the 4th of July weekend rolls around, and her boyfriend's going to be out of town, and so are her parents. So we decide that me and some of my friends and her and a couple of her friends are going to have a movie night at her place. And we all get together for movies, and we're sitting on the couch, a big L-shaped couch, and me and Abby are sitting right next to each other, and we got the blanket over us, and about halfway into the first movie, Abby puts her hand on top of mine. And it's the first time a woman has ever touched my hand without being told to in gym class. And it was just a great feeling, just that energy that runs through you the first time a woman shows you attention. And it was a little too great. Because at this moment I realize I have the world's hardest erection that has ever existed. And I'm really, really regretting wearing pajama pants. So when the first movie ends, I just sit on the couch and wave goodbye to my friends because they've sensed that the writing's on the wall, that this is mine and Abby's night, and we need some time alone. And so they all leave. She's gracious enough to show them the door. And she comes back downstairs to the basement where we were watching the movies, and now I'm kind of hunched over like this. There's no hiding it, and she's a trooper about it. She just maintains eye contact the whole way. And comes up to me, and she puts her arms around me and puts her forehead against mine, and I relax a little, and I put, lean into her, and she's whispering to me of how much she likes me, and I'm saying the same thing back to her. And I realize at this moment, this is going to be my first kiss, and I'm really excited about that. And then we kiss. And it's great, and it's everything I hoped it would be. And about 10 seconds into that kiss, I decide that I've done it the old-fashioned way long enough, and I'm gonna freestyle now. So I do what I can only describe as the way a dog licks a plate of peanut butter. That's what I began to do. O is the correct response. And I figured it was working because she began to do it back to me. So I was on to something, apparently. And we can kind of continue on, and I lay her on the couch, and I begin to undress her, and I take off her clothes, and all of a sudden I'm trembling now. I'm so nervous, I'm shaking, because I've just went 0 to infinity in like a minute here. This is the first real naked woman I've ever seen in my life, unless you count my aunt. But this is like I accidentally walked in on her once. So this is much better experience than that. And now we're on the bed or on the couch, sorry, and she says, "Nick, you can do whatever you want." I still had no idea what that meant. So I began to kiss her, and at one point I thought, maybe I should try having sex. So I kind of tried, and she said, "Nick, do you have a condom?" And I said, "No." And she said, "We can't have sex." Then wisdom beyond her years, which I'm grateful for. So I decided I'd start to maybe go down on her. And I'm thinking peanut butter style all the way here. It worked on the face. It's got to work other places, right? And I do that for a little bit. I feel I'm successful, so I go up and I start kissing her on the neck. And she whispers to me, nobody's ever done that to me before. And I say, "I'm glad you liked it." She never said she liked it. But I took it that way. Anyways. And that's where the sexual part of the night ended. And then we decided to put our clothes back on and go up to her bedroom and lay down for the evening. And as we're doing this, we decided that we're going to cuddle on the bed. And I've never slept next to a woman before in my life, obviously. And I'm actually the little spoon at this point. She's wrapping around me, and she puts her hand over my heart, and she says to me, our hearts are beating exactly together. And I think to myself, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But out of my mouth I said, yeah, they are. And as the night went on, she began to open up to me, and she revealed to me that she had 6 months prior been in a terrible car accident. Such a bad car accident that she had to have open brain surgery. And she showed me the scar. She pulled aside her beautiful hair, and where it was parted was like a Frankenstein-esque staples going along her head. And then we went to bed. And in the morning, she was freshening up. And she was in the bathroom, and I'm watching her with the door open, and she's freshening up. And I see her, and she goes, "Oh my God." And I said, "What?" And she comes back over, and she's got this tiny piece of glass in the palm of her hand. And I say, "What is that?" She said, "Well, during the accident, or after the accident, the doctor told me that the glass in my head would slowly work its way out of my orifices, and it worked its way out of her ear and into her hand, and she hands me this little piece of glass and puts it in my hand, and it's just this little shiny like diamond with a little bit of a red blood tint to it now." And I'm sitting there looking at it, and I'm thinking to myself, I never thought that my first experience with a woman would be this intimate. Thank you.